Inanna is the ancient Sumerian goddess of love, fertility, and war. While she was mainly worshipped in northern Mesopotamia, she later became known by the Akkadians and Assyrians as the goddess Ishtar, and by the Greeks as Aphrodite. Inanna's family history was a little uncertain. In some texts, she is the daughter of the god of wisdom, Enki, and in others, she is the daughter of the moon god, Nanna. She did have a sister, Ereshkigal, who I also made another video about. Inanna and Ereshkigal were separated at birth. Inanna stayed in the heavens with the other gods, while Ereshkigal was banished to the Underworld to rule over the realm of the dead for the rest of eternity. Inanna, on the other hand, was more representative of the living, birth, and fertility. For these reasons, she is also seen as a kind figure, helping humanity in various ways. In many ancient texts, she appears in various forms to help humanity. For example, she is credited for bringing culture and knowledge to humans after the god of wisdom, Enki, accidentally gifted humans the power of civilization when he had too much to drink. Very godly of him. Inanna is always portrayed as a young woman. She's never really seen as a mother or faithful wife, though. She's a woman who's fully aware of her feminine power and confronts life boldly without fear of how she will be perceived by others, especially men. While she is seen as a seductive figure, she's also strong. Commonly, she's depicted next to a lion in many images, and sometimes even riding the lion as a sign of her rule over the king of beasts. This makes sense because, remember, while she was the goddess of fertility and love, she was also the goddess of war and therefore could be brutal. In some of these images, she's wearing the armor of a male who would typically run into battle, armed with a bow and arrow. Perhaps you can tell now that Inanna is an independent woman who does whatever she pleases. Many times, she doesn't really think about the consequences of her actions, though, until it's too late. For example, when she provoked her sister Ereshkigal in the Underworld, Inanna's lover Dumuzi had to offer up his life so Inanna could leave the realm of the dead to return to the heavens. Sometimes when Inanna would find herself in a difficult situation, she might even try to manipulate someone or use her skills of seduction to limit the negative consequences reflected back upon her. She appears throughout history going by various names, and in the Epic of Gilgamesh, she goes by the name Ishtar. And here she presents as a promiscuous, jealous, and spiteful woman. When she tries to seduce Gilgamesh, he rejects her. He asks her why all of her other lovers have been met with bad fates after meeting her. Ishtar was infuriated at this rejection and this insinuation that she must have done something wrong. So she sends the husband of her sister, Ereshkigal, to destroy Gilgamesh's realm. So Inanna is kind of the catalyst to getting the ball rolling for Gilgamesh's epic quest to seek the meaning of life. When she was worshipped, Inanna's temple in Uruk was the main place where people worshipped her. Uruk was one of the most influential cities in ancient Mesopotamia. Scholars are a little fuzzy still on the details of the practices that went on in these temples, but many scholars believe that they may have practiced a form of sacred prostitution. This meant that men, women, and even transgender people would offer their bodies to the temple and complete sex acts with whomever wanted in exchange for whatever amount of money. That money would be used as donations to the temple to help with general upkeep. Herodotus, an ancient Greek historian, said that all Babylonian women had to offer up their bodies to Inanna's temple at least once in their life for this cause, and also to bless the land with fertility. He's not a super reliable source though, so take his notes with a grain of salt. It may be difficult for the modern person to empathize with this way of worship, but many ancient cultures saw sacred prostitution as a form of prayer and asking for adequate fertility for themselves or their family. Over the years, Inanna and other female deities kind of lost notoriety in Sumer, as there was a shift in culture surrounding women's rights and their rank in the social hierarchy. However, Inanna specifically was easier to understand by both men and women alike, and she was therefore a more pronounced figure who stood at the forefront of people's minds. So this might be a contributing factor as to why she had various names and myths from her ancient texts that carried over to places like Greece, where she became known as Aphrodite, and Rome, where she became known as Venus. That is all I have for you on Inanna, the goddess of lust and fertility. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Let me know what I should talk about next, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!